God. Ladies and gentlemen, the day has finally come. Bryan Mbeumo to Manchester United. Here we go. And you know what it is, right? This isn't a celebratory video. This isn't an excited video. It's barely even a happy video. Nah, this little moment right here is relief. It's relief. That's the only emotion I feel right now. And to give you a reason why, to give you full explanation, I'm not gonna explain it to you. I'm just gonna show you. On your screens right now is the exact day that we learned Bryan Mbeumo wanted to join this football club. And that Man United would therefore make an attempt to sign him. On the bottom left right here, you can see the date. I'm highlighting it right now. In fact, it's even being said twice, just for good measure. June 2nd, 2025. I repeat, June 2nd, 2025. Today, exclusive, Manchester United reach agreement with Brentford to sign Bryan Mbeumo. Deal between clubs struck at 65 million guaranteed, plus up to 6 million in add-ons. 4 installments. 26-year-old forward only wanted Man United and moved from Brentford, now being finalized. Today's date is July 18th, 2025. I'm going to say it one more time. We first learned of interest for Bryan Mbeumo on June 2nd. The date today is July 18th. And so honestly, this is not a victory lap. This is not a celebratory video. This is not me here saying, look at man. This is just pure and utter relief. Because genuinely, guys, I was starting to think this wasn't going to happen. I was genuinely starting to believe this move wasn't going to happen. Now, before we get into this video, I really want to just say this first and foremost. I'm really red right now. I just came back. The reason I didn't even get to upload this on at the time, I was playing football at the time the Mbeumo news came out. I've been playing football all day. So as you can see, I'm very sunburned right now. It's getting a little better. Hey, put on your SPF and make sure you're wearing aloe vera after. I learned that the hard way. But that's the reason for my red face. But you know what it is? I'm red. Bryan Mbeumo is a red. Me and him are the same. Me and him are the same. But let's talk about Mbeumo to Man United, man. Wow. I mean, this football club, right? They make you work for things, huh? They make you work for things. It can never just be easy. One day we hear that they have interest. 2 weeks later, both clubs have come to an agreement. I mean, this is nuts. 28 days in June that we waited. Another 18 on top of that. What is that? 38, 46 days. 46 days we waited for Bryan Mbeumo to officially become a Man United player. Oh, a month and a half. Only Man United. Only Man United. I guess what we have to be happy here is that the deal even happened, because at one point, right, it really looked like this deal was in danger of capitulating, because there's been so many other deals going on on the side, and it really kind of tells the story of why it's so important to get ahead of the chasing pack when it comes to signings. It's so important to be proactive and not reactive when it comes to signings. And unfortunately with Man United, we know they're oftentimes the latter. But you look in this entire saga since June 2nd, like I said, that we've been after Bryan Mbeumo. We've seen Anthony Elanga go for 55 million. We've seen Noni Madueke go for 48 million. We've seen Kudus go for 55. Those are 3 wingers. You would consider them good Premier League wingers. I mean, Kudus I really rate a lot. But for the most part, 3 good wingers went for 55 million. 50 to 55 million. Brentford would have looked at that and said, well, originally we wanted 62 because it's similar to what you guys got Cunha for. But when I look at all these guys who have never had a season as good as Mbeumo did last year, and we know you're desperate because you're Man United, well, actually, no, we're going to throw 5 more million on top of it. And then another 5 mil on top of that. And you know what? Why not 1 million more on the final day? That's what happens when you take this long. Another thing that has massively, I think, probably really put some panic in Man United, right, is the fact that there's been a whole saga between Liverpool and Newcastle, including Brentford. We knew that Liverpool wanted Alexander Isak. Newcastle wanted Ekitike. Newcastle refused to sell Isak, meaning that they didn't have as much money to spend on Ekitike, which now means Ekitike looks closer to joining Liverpool, and it means they need a backup striker, which in turn made them look at Vissa. Now, Brentford have already lost their manager, a dynastic manager for them, relative to Brentford's quality. They've lost their captain, and they were about to lose their best player in Mbeumo. Now, I don't think there is ever a reality where they sell Mbeumo and Vissa in the same summer. So now it's really a case of who can act quicker, Newcastle or Man United? I think Man United heard that and said, okay, no more fun and games here. No more fun and games. If we look at the deal, 65 million pounds guaranteed. That's a lot of money. That has a lot of money. Up to £6 million add-ons. Like I always tell you guys, I'm consistent with this. Add-ons, for me, I don't really worry too much about them because I really think add-ons, it's like you can only really win, in my opinion, with them. If your player isn't good, more likely than not, he's not going to accomplish the add-ons. I know sometimes, right, there's exceptions, right? 20 games played, that's an add-on right there. But when we talk about elite clubs or clubs that run at the highest level, we're talking about, oh, maybe Ballon d'Or clause when it came to Martial. That's a clause that never got activated, so it's not money we have to spend on him. Win the Champions League, win the league, score 20 goals. These are the kinds of clauses I feel like we're talking about when we're talking about clubs like Man United. So the add-ons, we're only going to pay them if he ends up being a really good player. And if he ends up being a really good player, who cares how much we spent on him, right? 65 million pounds, though, is a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And I mean, in the scope of the entire market, it's probably fair because, again, look at the season that he's coming off of. Brentford were not in a position that they needed to sell. Man United are in a position of desperation. Bryan Mbeumo's age. I get all of that. It's a lot of money, though, man. It's a lot. And I'm consistent throughout with this, right? This is not because, like, I like Mbeumo. I think he's a really good player. That's a lot of money. And it, in turn, is going to result in a lot of pressure on the guy. A lot of pressure. And Mbeumo is going to be expected to come to Man United and be one of the main guys. And look, there's nothing to suggest he can't be. He's shown amazing things for Brentford. He's gone from strength to strength, leaps and bounds over the last few seasons. But that's a lot of money. That's a big price tag to have hovering over your back. However, if you're led to believe anything about Mbeumo, it's that he's always believed he deserves to be at this stage. People close to his camp say that he's an incredible trainer. He's someone who takes his personal development, not just in terms of being a better player on the training pitch, but outside of that as well, too. He is really diligent and, like, he has a little bit of, like, you know, okay, I'm going to be careful of what I say here, right? But, you know, Cristiano Ronaldo really took care of himself on and off the pitch. Mohamed Salah as well, too, has kind of been the picture of really self-care, really making sure you can elongate your career, be ready from match day 1 to match day 38, week in, week out. And Mbeumo is viewed as a player who has a similar kind of mentality. And I think it's something that can only improve Man United in terms of that kind of character being added to the group and the group learning off of that character as well, too. Him being a sponge for the rest of them. This is only a good thing, in my opinion. Where does he fit? I mean, I believe that he's probably going to be played as a number 10 on the right, like a right number 10 in Amorim's system. Cunha on the left, Mbeumo on the right. I know at times we've seen Bruno play there. I think Bruno's going to probably play deeper this season, and that's something we're going to touch on because it's a concern for me. Amad has played there in parts, but I actually think Amad will have a much bigger part to play at right wing back this season. We actually saw him play a few times there. And honestly, if you kind of look into his performances last season, I didn't believe this until I actually saw it. He was better at right wing back than he was at number 10. I don't even think it's arguable. Like, when you actually, like, look at his best performances last season, they all came at right wing back. And when you look at how Amorim wants to play with his footballers, especially with his wingbacks, I think he naturally prefers wingers playing out there because we're not supposed to be playing 5 at the back like we were at times last season. So I believe we're going to see Mbeumo playing as a right 10 next year. Now, that's not a role he's really ever played. He's played as like in a front 2 at times. He's played off the right, obviously. He's not ever really played in the pockets. He's never played with, like, his back to goal like that in terms of receiving it and then having to receive on the half turn. That's not really ever been his game. Matheus Cunha at Wolves, I mean, just in general, Cunha is much more that kind of player. I have no real doubt about how he fits as a number 10. And Mbeumo is going to have to show us a new side to his game that he hasn't really shown at Brentford. He's been an outlet. He's been a guy who's like a touchline winger who runs at players. But in terms of, like, this half-space number 10 that Amorim likes, that's going to be a side of his game he has to show us. I do like the idea of Mbeumo and Cunha being 2 players who are kind of running off a center forward that's dropping deeper. And if you believe Fabrizio Romano today, he reports that Man United will next be looking for a center forward after securing the Mbeumo deal. But it largely relies on selling players. Again, we'll get into that. But as for the Mbeumo deal, look, I don't think there's any getting around it. This is a top player. He's a top Premier League player. He's one of the best players in his position in the Premier League. You're looking at Salah. You're looking at Bukayo Saka. Outside of them, can you confidently say there's a better right winger in the Premier League? I'm not so sure, and Man United are adding that. Another thing I have to add here, right, is the goals aspect, because it's a big problem for Man United. Bryan Mbeumo last season scored 20 Premier League goals. First and foremost, that's an incredible feat. Scoring 20 goals in a Prem season, that's a great feat right there. Honestly, I think anybody will tell you that that's played at that level. Matheus Cunha scored 15. Together last season, they scored 35 goals. Man United scored 44. Manchester United scored 44 goals last season. Matheus Cunha and Bryan Mbeumo combined scored 9 less than an entire football club. So you're talking about a 26-man squad. We scored 9 more goals than 2 players combined. I don't know how else to kind of describe. Like, that's a catastrophe. That's a disaster. That's ridiculous to even try and comprehend and wrap your mind around. And it's not just last season, right? Last season was a new low. But even the season before, Man United scored 57 goals. That's not great. Look how many goals, look how many teams are scoring more goals than us, bro, by a lot. 96, 91, 86, 85. Come on, man. The season before that even, we finished third this season. We scored 58 goals. Do you know how many teams scored more or less than us that season? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 teams in the Prem that season where we finished third scored as many goals or more than us. Quite simply, guys, this is not an exaggeration. We have a goal-scoring crisis. We have an attacking crisis. The season I'm talking about, 22-23, the only reason it's even that high is because Rashford went on that crazy run of form in front of goal. But we've had a crazy attacking crisis, honestly, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer left the club. Because one thing about Ole, his side scored goals. Whether you loved him or hated him, his side scored goals. Since he's left, we have had a problem putting the ball in the back of the net. And these two coming in can only improve that. Now, I know what people are going to say. Mbeumo only has ever scored that many goals 1 year. Same with Cunha. They both take penalties. Okay, well, are Arsenal now not going to sign Gyökeres because he takes a lot of penalties? And Saka takes penalties too. And Odegaard. Like, I get it, but still, you got to score them. You do. They add goals to our team. There's no getting around it. Now, is it enough? No, it's not. Because even with Mbeumo and Cunha added to Man United, if our window ends tomorrow, what's the highest those two being added to our team? What's the highest our ceiling is raising? What's the highest Man United are finishing if all we do this window is add Cunha and Mbeumo? Are we cracking the top 10? Can we please crack the top? Is that enough to crack the top 10? If I look at the Premier League table and I just take into account Cunha and Mbeumo, I mean, I think Brentford are going to struggle massively. So we're at least jumping up to 14th. At least. Anyone else I'm confident of? Crystal Palace potentially losing Eze and Guehi. Glasner's a top coach, but okay, maybe we can jump over Crystal Palace. West Ham, I think they're going to struggle a little bit. They lost Kudus as well too. Graham Potter hasn't had a great time. Maybe we can jump over them. So we're around like 12th right now. I mean, Spurs, they might finish above us. They're making some good signing. Great manager in Thomas Frank. So maybe we drop down to 13th again. Bournemouth, they're losing a few players. Like, again, for me, we're climbing up the table, but it's not substantial. Those two players are great. There's a lot more that needs to happen. A lot. And this is where my worries really kind of exponentially grow. Because ladies and gentlemen, as I've been telling you guys since January, Man United are broke. We are broke. People think every year when we say we have less money to spend, it's like, oh, guys, I know we just spent a lot of money on 2 players, but that's probably the max we can spend now without selling anybody else. We probably, like, you know, all the layoffs we've been doing in the last year, the kitchen ladies, the staff, the janitors, the pool boys, the maids, all of them. That probably just got us enough money to get these two. After this, I'm not sure we can actually afford to buy anybody with the money remaining in our pool. I'm not too sure about that. I'm not sure about our PSR standing, but we're broke. Like, we're broker than broke here now. Everything we do going forward in this window, I'm pretty sure, relies on sales. And this is where it starts to get scary. Because again, it's July 18th. There's not long left in the window. And now, teams smell blood around Man United. Because we're in a vulnerable position. We're not in a great position right now. We're not in a position of power when it comes to selling. Because we have 5 players that we have publicly exiled on ridiculous wages, or at least most of them, that nobody wants to buy. Nobody wants to buy these guys. I heard Cam, he's calling them the Manchester 5. They're the 5 guys on the run in the US right now, or I guess one of them is left. But what do we do with these guys? Marcus Rashford. I'd be shocked if Marcus Rashford leaves us on a permanent this season. I'd be shocked. His wages are crazy. Have you guys seen his contract? Man United are not getting what they want in a permanent deal for Marcus Rashford. For me, I'm fully of the belief it's going to be a loan of an obligation. Maybe a loan of we are not selling him. We're not making money off him this summer, in my opinion. That's one. Tyrell Malacia, what are we making off that guy? If we manage to get anybody to buy him, we're getting peanuts. Already we bought him for peanuts. Jadon Sancho. Oh my goodness gracious. If I speak on Jadon Sancho, I genuinely couldn't even begin to tell you where we're going to start with that guy. We literally saw Sancho at a football club last season with an obligation to buy. And the club turned down the obligation. Have you ever heard of that in your life? Ever. They paid us money to go back on their obligation. At the moment, he doesn't want to lower his wages. That's why he didn't join Chelsea, because he was unwilling to lower his wages. Juve are interested as well now too. You think Juve can afford what Jadon Sancho makes at Man United? No. These guys came to us saying they want to leave the football club, but we have to go find them suitors. No. Go find suitors yourself that are willing to pay your wages. Then no problem. You think we want to keep Sancho? We think we want to keep Anthony. It's impossible to get rid of you guys. The only one, honestly, that I'm surprised we haven't been able to find a suitor for, because his wages aren't that big, and if we're led to believe in January he was valued at 50-60 million by some clubs, is Alejandro Garnacho. And again, no one has come in with an offer yet. Until we sell those 5, Rashford, Anthony, Garnacho, Sancho, And Malacia, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to struggle to make money this window. We're going to struggle to buy. Next up on the agenda for United appears to be a center forward. I've heard rumors of Watkins. I've heard rumors of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I've heard rumors of Mateta. I've even heard rumors recently of Nicholas Jackson. Of all four of them. Maybe we can make a video on that as maybe one of those rumors starts to gain a little more reliability as it becomes more concrete. But at the moment, that's the level of center forward we're looking to buy. But even them, I mean, Calvert-Lewin would be a free shirt, but Watkins, Mateta, or Nico Jackson, can we afford any of them right now? No, we can't. And it honestly goes to our next question. Should that be the next priority? Now, you guys know how I feel about number 9. You guys know how I feel about number 9. I don't even got to say his name. You know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about. You know how I feel about him. And he definitely needs to be improved. Don't get it twisted. We need a new center forward. But is a new center forward right now more important than a central midfielder? Answer me that question. Answer me that question. We made a big call. I mean, we didn't really make it. We gave the choice to the player. But there was a big opportunity to make £100 million off Bruno Fernandez this summer. Now, a lot of people didn't want Bruno to leave. He's our best player. He's the guy he's our captain. He understands the club. He's a great person to have around. He's becoming very quickly a club cult hero if he's not already. People didn't want to sell Bruno. But now I ask you this. If you believe so much in Amorim, Bruno Fernandez's role in this team is a central midfielder. Name me one midfielder in the world realistically attainable this window that if paired next to Bruno in a midfield 2, not in a 3, in a 2, realistically attainable that can, when paired with Bruno Fernandez in a midfield 2, lead us to elite success. Name me one. Because guys, Bruno Fernandez, as brilliant as he is, has his flaws. Some of his flaws consist of poor physicality, poor athleticism in general, in terms of running with the ball, carrying it forward, holding players off, winning his duels in midfield from a defensive point of view. He's not good at that. Let's call it what it is. He's a brilliant creator, one of the best in the world, brilliant goal scorer from midfield, incredible passer of the ball, he's an amazing player. In a midfield 2, he has many flaws. Many. And those flaws were on red alert in the Europa League final, by the way, because Ange recognized Bruno's flaws in midfield and put Pape Sarr on him, Bissouma on him, Bentancur in that midfield 3. That was the midfield 3. Bro, they ate Bruno Fernandez up from a physical point of view. So the player that has to play with Bruno in midfield has to be like 6 foot plus, athletic as hell, can run, can carry the ball, can literally dominate defensively, win his aerial duels, and also be a baller. I'm sorry, I just described Patrick Vieira. The only player that can play with Bruno in a midfield 2 in this system is Patrick Vieira. So honestly, I think we're going to look back at Bruno Fernandez staying instead of making 100 million on him in a few months as potentially, damn, we might have missed the trick there. Because 100 million pounds to actually reinvest into the squad. Now, you have to trust that the board and the ownership can even reinvest that correctly. But I'm sorry, I think we're in a bit of a situation in midfield, man. Because I look at every midfielder we're linked to. And if they're playing next to Bruno Fernandez, those profiles scare me. I don't think it's good enough. I don't even know who we're being linked to in midfield. That's another scary thing about Man United right now. Normally, we get linked to every player under the sun. And I'm usually very, very worried about that. This summer, it's almost like we heard about Mbeumo, we heard about Cunha, nothing else. And again, normally I'd like that. It'd tell me, oh, the club's doing business low-key. But I'm sorry, in the David Ornstein, Fabrizio Romano era, not hearing about any transfer rumors in general is a red flag. It's a red flag, man. It's not 5-10 years ago. That's not a good sign. Those guys know everything. They know everything. So why don't they know about what Man United want to do? Don't tell me it's because Man United are elite at what they're doing. That has me concerned. But I think the next step for the club is going to end up being trying to sell players. But it's going to be a challenge, man. Luke Shaw, that guy's staying at the club. We can't sell Luke Shaw. How can we sell Luke Shaw? He never plays and he's on a shit ton of money. Excuse my language. Never plays. How can we sell him? Casemiro, he's happy here. I don't blame him. Do you see how much money he makes? Lindelof, we have to literally let go of. Eriksen, we have to let go of. Højlund, God knows how we're going to find a suitor for him. I don't know how we're going to do it. I genuinely don't know how we're going to do it this season because we're talking about striker. We're talking about central midfielder. What about wingback? What about a goalkeeper? Probably more than one midfielder, by the way. Like, this squad needs a lot. It needs a lot. And that's even in Amorim's system. How long does Amorim last? There's a lot of question marks around Man United, but the one thing I think that can give Man United a little bit of respite this season, the one shining light that could save United's market a little, or even their squad planning next season, hear me out. The academy. Man United's academy can get Man United out of a hole this summer. We're going to have to use it. There are going to have to be players from our academy that chip in with minutes this season. And I'm sorry, we just finished 15th. We just finished 15th. Do not even try telling me that our academy players are in no way, shape, or form capable of performing at least the level of those guys last season. Don't try and sell me on that. We saw Aiden Heaven. I know he's not from our academy, right? But a youth player before the season come into Man United and stand out. That's how low. He's a great player. That's how low the level is. So this season, Amorim, unfortunately, you're not going to get all of your targets. I think that's virtually impossible. It's not your fault. It's a situation. Oh, I mean, we could have won the Europa League. That would have been 100 million right there. But we're in the situation we are. You're going to have to be creative with the solutions you make. I'm looking at this Diego Leon kid. Apparently very highly rated. He's got to be a wingback this season, man. He's got to get minutes this season. Cheeto, he's going to have to play more than he did last season. Aiden Evan, I'm expecting him to play a lot more this season. Shea Lacey, I'm hearing a lot of good stuff about him. I'm hearing people from around the club say that they're expecting them to have a big preseason. We're going to have to be creative, the youth team, because there's no way we're going to go buy 5-6 players this season and sell 6 or 7. It's not going to happen. Get creative. And strap in as well, too. This is a good signing. It's late. I wish it had happened 3 weeks ago, but we got it over the line. Bryan Mbeumo, Matheus Cunha. Man United are a better team because of those two, but the work is not done. If you genuinely believe Man United are ready to kickstart next season with those two and nothing else, I have a bridge to sell you. But welcome to Manchester United. Bryan Mbeumo. Don't get it twisted. I might sound fed up in this video, but I'm very, very happy to see this player come through the door. I think he's a very good player, and I think if managed correctly and developed correctly and platformed correctly, we have a great player. We have a great player. An expensive player, but a great player. Let me know your thoughts on the signing. Let me know your thoughts on the situation at Man United at the moment, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Like, share, subscribe. Catch you guys. Peace.